I overheard my parents telling relatives, "She's so lucky we let her live here rent-free," even though I paid the mortgage, their debts, and their luxuries. They laughed about how I'd never survive without them. So, I moved out overnight and stopped paying their bills. A week later, they called me in a panic when the power went out. I was 27 when I bought my first house, a modest 3-bedroom in a quiet part of Sacramento, California. I worked tirelessly for it. Overtime, side hustles, sacrificing vacations. But I was proud. Wanting to help, I let my parents move in. That was my biggest mistake. At first, it made sense. My dad, Richard, had racked up debt from bad business decisions, and my mom, Linda, had never worked. They were barely scraping by. I told them they could stay rent-free until they got back on their feet. Except they never planned to. At first, I was happy to help, covering the mortgage, utilities, and groceries. But then Linda treated the house like hers, redecorating and throwing out my furniture. Richard lounged all day, watching TV. They invited relatives over constantly. Barbecues, dinners, weekend stays, all on my dime. The entitlement crept in. They stopped saying thank you, treated me like a guest in my own home. If I asked Linda to stop buying expensive decor with my money, she'd cry about my ingratitude. If I asked Richard to clean up, he'd complain he was too old. Then came the breaking point. One night, I came home late and overheard them laughing with relatives. "She wouldn't survive without us," Richard said. "She thinks she's independent, but she'll never make it alone." I was done. The next morning, I found a 1-bedroom apartment, called a moving company, and packed everything that mattered. By 2 a.m., I was gone, and I took my money with me. A week later, the fallout began. First, they called about the power, then the water, then the internet, then the mortgage company started calling. My phone exploded with messages. "Why isn't the electricity paid?" "You need to fix this." I ignored them. Then the guilt trip began. Linda sent dramatic emails. "We never imagined our daughter would abandon us like this. Do you even love us?" Richard was angrier. "You're punishing us for raising you. You owe us." Then my aunt chimed in. "Sweetie, I know your parents messed up, but they're really suffering. You should at least talk to them." Almost got me. Almost. Then I found out Linda had told everyone I stole from them. My cousin called. "Hey, your mom is saying you ran off with their savings and left them homeless." I was stunned. Savings? They never had savings. I was the one keeping them afloat. But relatives stopped talking to me. Some blocked me. Others sent nasty messages. Weeks passed, and the messages slowed. Then one day, a knock at my door. Richard. I didn't open. "I know you're in there," he said. Then he started loudly muttering, "We didn't do anything wrong. We just wanted to be a family." I stayed silent. That night, Linda emailed, "Your father collapsed today from the stress. We don't have money for medical bills. Please come home." I nearly gave in, until I called my cousin. "Did my dad go to the hospital?" "No, he was fine yesterday." They were lying. Again. Then came the real betrayal. A call from an unknown number. "Hi, this is Wells Bank. We're calling about a mortgage application under your name." My blood ran cold. They were trying to buy a house, under my name. I went straight to their rental. Linda opened the door, feigning surprise. "Oh, you finally came to see us." I pushed past her. Richard sat on the couch, watching TV, unfazed. "Are you out of your mind? You tried to take out a mortgage in my name." Linda's eyes widened. I don't know what you're talking about." "The bank called me." Her face twisted. "We needed somewhere to live. You left us with nothing." Richard added, "You'll have a house again someday. We just needed a little help." I laughed. "A little help? You tried to commit fraud." Then I pulled out my phone. Guess what? I already called the bank. And the police? Richard shot up. "You wouldn't." "Watch me." I left and drove straight to the police. They told me to file a fraud report with my bank first. At the bank, I locked everything down. New passwords, security alerts. That's when I found something worse. "Did you recently open a credit card with Citibank?" the banker asked. No, I only have one card. She turned the screen to me. A credit card, under my name, maxed out at $12,000. Designer clothes, a cruise, electronics. They had been stealing from me for months. I went back, threw the bank statement on the table. Explain this. Linda paled. Richard laughed. So you finally found out. Took you long enough. I'm pressing charges, Linda gasped. You can't do that. We're your parents. That didn't stop you from stealing from me. Then Richard scoffed. You make good money. You wouldn't even miss it. That was it. I lost.